If you shoot someone in self-defense, what do you say when you call 911? I got this question a lot after one of my previous videos, and I'm going to answer that question today. The answer is simple. You don't call 911. If at all possible, have someone else call 911. I was a police officer for 13 years. I worked many years with prosecutors and defense attorneys alike. And this one bit of, let's say, advice is something that I found very surprising. But then after sitting at trials, you understand why. Because all 911 calls are recorded, and any attorney is going to try to use anything you say to either twist it against you or incriminate you or whatever it might be. So what I've been told and what I learned over the years is, if at all possible, if you are in a self-defense shooting, have someone else call 911. That is, if you're out and about, what have you. Now, if you are in your home, there's obviously, and you're maybe by yourself, then you have to call 911. Now, let's say you're in your home and there's, you're with your wife, your spouse. When that happens, have them call 911. Have them call 911, and the basic thing is, my name is such and such, I live at such and such address, and there's been a shooting. Send police and an ambulance, and hang up. There's nothing else to say. If you're out and about, let's say you're in a public setting, and there's a self-defense shooting situation, and if there's people around, of course, and you have that incident occur, have someone else call 911. You can give them the direction to say, call 911, call an ambulance. And most likely that person is going to call 911 and they're going to say, send police. There's been a shooting. Someone just got shot. We need an ambulance. Okay, that's it. Now, one thing I always liked to have as information while going to a call was what the person was wearing or what the person looked like who was not going to be the threat. And let's hope they're not going to be a threat. So who's the homeowner in this situation? Who is the one who called the police? And I would, get that information very rarely. Homeowner is going to be out front wearing a, black baseball cap and a black t-shirt. Okay, so at least now when I roll up, all I know is that there's been a shooting at this house. They've requested police. They've requested an ambulance, and the homeowner / caller to 911 is wearing this. So when I roll up and I see someone who looks like that, I'm going to at least know, okay, this is the person that called 911, and this is the potential homeowner. I'm going to still, of course, approach carefully, make contact, and get information, see what's going on. Now, if I roll up to the house and I see someone else rolling around the front of the house or the back of the house or side of the house that doesn't match that description, well, then I know that something else is going on, and I got to now be vigilant and assess the situation differently. So that's one bit of advice I would give as well. If you do call, or if you have your spouse call, going back to the in-the-house incident, call 911. So someone breaks into my house, and I have to, eliminate this threat. Do that. No one's around me. Pick up the phone, 911. My name is so-and-so. I live at 123 Main Street. There's been a shooting. Not I shot somebody. There's been a shooting. I need police and an ambulance. I will be out front. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with an American flag on the sleeve, and I'll be out front. I'm not armed, and I will be out front waiting for officers. That's it. They're going to try to ask questions and say, okay, what happened? Do you know who it was that broke in? How'd they get in? They're going to try to ask all these questions as 911 operators because they're trying to gather information to give to the patrol officers who are en route for their safety. They're trying to feed them as much information. And I get that because I was in that role, rolling to a call like that. However, for the person who is now in a self-defense situation, you want to say as little as possible. Going back to if you're out, maybe you're out with your family, you're out in a public setting, and this occurs. If you're with someone, then you can direct them. Call 911, let them know where we are, let them know that there's been a shooting, send police and an ambulance right away. That's it. Let the police arrive there and let them do their investigation, let them handle, and you don't say anything until you've retained an attorney and you have your attorney do the talking for you. Same thing. When the police arrive to your home, if you've been in a self-defense situation in your home, a home defense situation, and they arrive, I'm on the front lawn, I got my hands up. They know what I'm wearing because I've given them my description. They come up, sir, what happened? It's been a shooting. A person came into my home. I need to speak to my attorney, and I also need to go to the hospital. When you go to the hospital, it's very important for this little detail that gives you your time to decompress, and it gives them time for you to kind of have them evaluate you. Some people say it's always good when you call for an ambulance to say send 2 ambulances, one for the person who's been shot and one for you. You'll see this happen in law enforcement whenever there's a officer involved shooting. They will take that officer, put them in a patrol car and take them to the hospital, or put them in an ambulance and take them to the hospital. It's just something to get them away from the scene, get them out of the questioning circle, and get them time to retain their attorney, calm down, process everything. That is something I also agree with. I've heard that from a lot of attorneys, and I got to say I agree with that one, because if you stay at the scene and you're hanging around there, and you're going to get officer after officer and people after, but if you get removed from the scene, you go to the hospital and they're going to triage you. At some point thereafter, you're going to maybe see an officer come to the hospital and maybe try to question you. But by then you've been able to contact an attorney, and you just say, you know what, I've contacted my attorney, and I'm not going to speak about this until I have my attorney present and I've consulted with my attorney. That's it, plain and simple. So pretty much mirrors the same, whether you're out and about in a public setting and something happens, someone shows up and they're trying to rob somewhere or whatever, or they try to, there's an active shooter and you have to do that. Best thing, don't call 911, have someone else call 911 and let them know. Send an ambulance for sure. Send 2 ambulances, helps. At home, same thing. If there's ever been a time where less is more is a thing, it's in this situation. And any attorney worth their salt will tell you that. Hope this helps. It's just some basic common knowledge that you should have that maybe is not so common, but it's some knowledge you should have if you are carrying a weapon on you every day when you're out and about, and if you have a weapon in your home for self-defense. It's an important element of what to do and what to know should an event occur and you need to fire that weapon and eliminate a threat or neutralize a threat. So hope this helps. If you have any questions, or if you have something to add to that, maybe you're an attorney, maybe you've been in this situation before, I don't know. If you have something to add to that, drop it below, because we're about community here. We're learning. So share, and help the community and help people who are maybe new to this. That's what we're here for. When it comes to being mission ready, it's ready for all these situations. Yeah, you want to be mission ready for putting down the threat and neutralizing the threat to protect your family and protect lives. But you also want to now be ready, because it's a holistic to be mission ready for what comes next. You got to be prepared for the aftermath. You got to know how to navigate that to protect yourself, and ultimately give yourself the opportunity and time to process, get your legal representation on scene, and give yourself that buffer. Huge. It's important. Don't dismiss it. So having this knowledge is all part of the mission ready system. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.